not even heard of. You know, the forensic evidence, the getting the cooperation of the government of Canada to test items so that we have clear DNA evidence against the accused. I think that that was really remarkable. But I'm not familiar with exactly what else could have been done. You know, I feel like they worked very hard and they've done their, they've achieved a lot. So I hope that the justice system and the judiciary will see that and see the clarity of the evidence and reward the police for their excellent hard work. And we really hope that that will be the case.
What is the current status of the accused at this point in time?
They're
Are all four behind bars currently?
No, nobody is behind bars. They're all on bail, which is very disturbing.
What was the motive behind this?
It was the property dispute. So it was the two brothers this is from what we know, from what the police have told us. The property dispute between where the two brothers decided to disinherit the youngest brother. My mother was fighting for the rights of her youngest brother. And the four sisters all joined together and said, we all want you to give the youngest brother his share. But the two older brothers didn't want to do that. And so on the very last night before she was to return home, they decided that she had to be silenced. And this was the way they chose to do that. They hired people, and this is based on what police have told us, but the evidence is just too overwhelming. And honestly, when I tell this to people, especially whenever I come to India and I'm talking to people about it, when they hear that it was about property, people shake their heads as though, oh yes, this happened. How can this happen? How is this acceptable? That people over property and money will kill their own sister in their own home? When my father heard the results of the autopsy, he broke down crying. They kicked her. They kicked her. Can you imagine a life partner knowing that the last moments of his wife's life were to be on the ground brutalized?
Could you tell us what is the status of the property right now? Is it still under dispute? Is it CD?
It's still under dispute. Nothing has happened to the property. It is just sitting empty.
And could you tell us where the case is being run, where the trial is being run, in which court? And
It's in Sessions Court.
And who is the lawyer on your side, defendant's lawyer?
Oh, I don't remember all the defendants' lawyers' names. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can you tell us about the case number?
So it's just a flat or a plot, or how much?
I believe that there was more than, definitely the flat was an issue, but I believe that there was more than one property, other properties in Mumbai also that were of concern. But it was, my Nanaji had made known through a letter to all of the children how he wanted the property to be divided. This was my mother trying to make sure that the three brothers share the way their father wanted them to share. It was not trying to get the youngest brother something he was not entitled to. It was not the sisters fighting for their own share at all. It was just saying, you three brothers should share like three brothers. How can you disinherit him? He's the youngest of all of us. He's the baby. How can you disinherit him and basically disown him? And my mother was very well respected in her family. You all know women like this who have achieved something, who have been strong, who are great examples, both here and abroad. And she was an idealist. And she used to tell me, God's justice is God's justice, but our job on earth is to achieve as much justice and fairness as we can. And that was, part of my guiding light when I became, when I went to law school, when I became a professor, always used her as an example. And I'm just so disturbed that it has been so long, and when I talk to people, people shake their heads as though, oh, this happens all the time. I don't want that to be the case in this place that I consider to be my home.
Could you tell us the case number, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I
In the
don't
year?
have it on me. I don't have all my papers, I
Okay.
apologize.
You are practicing law in
I'm not practicing, I'm a teacher, I'm a professor.
Are you still with Denver University?
I am still at Denver University. Yeah, I've been there for a long time.
Have you approached any NGOs in India? In Mumbai,
No,
to make
that's-
movement about the reforms required and make a movement out of it?
We have been focused on trying to move the case forward, and so we have not we have not pushed to make legal reforms, although I know that the case, as it has proceeded through many levels, has in fact resulted in some change in law, right? Because we've been to the Supreme Court more than once. We have 4 orders expediting for expediting the case, but it has still taken this long to get to trial. But we're really hopeful now that trial has started, that we will get there. And your continued attention to the case, I think, will help shine a light for everybody that it's important. It's important because everybody feels it's important. We're not just one family. And I hope that you will continue to see my mother as, a daughter of India. She never abandoned her roots or felt that she was not of this land. And we don't feel that we are either.
Do you
We are
think
not.
the Indian legal system is very lazy or some lack of legal process?
The Indian legal system is as complicated as every other legal system. So there are a lot of, and the law on the books is often different than the way the law works in practice. We have been disturbed that it's taken this long, and I don't know what else we were supposed to do to make it move faster. I don't know exactly whether somebody was responsible for delay at every moment. But I know that we are very grateful that we're finally coming to trial, and we hope that everything will be seen in its totality. And the evidence will be examined in its totality to achieve justice here.
So did you try to get fast track the result for the local adalat? That is also in India.
Yeah, so we have tried that. I know that there was effort to be in the fast track women's court. I'm not exactly sure the position that we're in now. We're in the sessions court, and the judge, we hope would, I know that the judge appears very committed to moving it along at pace, and we hope to see results soon.
Is the Canadian government also pushing?
So the Canadian government had provided some assistance early on, and unfortunately, efforts to have the Canadian and Indian authorities cooperate to get some evidence that was in Canada, or to provide additional pressure from the Canadian government to oversee the case, that has not been at the level that we would like. But we are grateful that the Canadian government provided the forensic examination, which they did at a time when there were very few labs in the world that could do what they did, and India was not at that stage. I always find it very curious that, you know, the scientists who develop these this amazing technology are very often of Indian origin. And we don't have the resources necessarily in India. Sometimes we have to go out of India to get that technology. But often it's the great minds of Indian origin that have discovered and pioneered this research. We're grateful for that.
Madam, did your grandparent made a will for the property?
This is complicated. I know that he made a holographic will. He wrote a letter that was distributed to all the children. I've seen it. I've read it. I know what he wanted. And I also know that my mom's two brothers did not want to do that. So,
Sorry, I missed on it. Holography.
holographic, meaning it's a handwritten will.
I mean,
Where is the youngest brother right now?
He's in Los Angeles. He is, he's in ailing health, unfortunately. He's not well. I did see him at Diwali time. I went to their house for Diwali. So, but he's not well. To be very honest, my mother's murder, he was very close to my mom, and it really devastated him. And to be honest, I don't think he ever recovered from
your other relatives in Mumbai are supporting you?
it. Yes. Yeah. Well, some of the relatives are the children of the murderers. So, right? If there's two brothers, those cousins still live here. And Narendra Goel was the son-in-law of Suresh.
And are the both main accused alive now?
Sorry?
The main accused are alive? The two brothers?
No, one of them died very shortly after the murder. The other one is living in Canada and absconded.
Who's the deceased one?
Suresh,
And the one in Canada?
Subhash. So of the remaining 4 accused who were named, Pradeep Barab is the one who has turned approver. Manohar Shinde has passed away. Pawan Kumar Goenka, who was the general manager of Subhash here in India, he is still alive. And Narendra Goel, who is the son-in-law of Suresh, is still alive. And he's also facing trial. So we have 2 people facing trial, 1 approver, and 1 accused who's absconded.
Thank you.
Any more questions? And if you want to